got a problem with the AK47. So I figured when I fix this problem, I'll go ahead and make a video for you guys doing a complete breakdown. Predu przdeny, ja mnogo pijania wypil vodka. So just to warn you guys. So yeah, just came out of, just got out of the field, running some AK operators courses, and my trigger retaining pin is loose. So I'm assuming it's a problem with the shepherd's hook, which is a pain in the ass. That's why I recommend that everybody replace their shepherd's hook with a retainer plate as soon as possible. So I'm going to get into her and see what's going on. Alright, weapons clear. So to start disassembly, first you want to pop your dust cover off, take your recoil spring out, take your bolt carrier and bolt out. And once you get that shit out of there, the basic shit, this is where the fun begins. So you want to let your hammer ride forward at this point. Alright. And move your selector all the way up. And it will pop right out. Now on this side where your optics mount is going to be, you have this paper clip looking thing right here. Alright, this is your shepherd's hook, and what it does is hold your retaining pins in place. So what had happened in the course of running the AK operators course, somehow this lost spring tension on the rear retaining pin, causing it to pop out a little bit. Which, I mean, you lose your trigger retaining pin, you're going to have a catastrophic failure. The shepherd's hook is not the most reliable system, but, I mean, look at this thing, alright? This is what the factory is going to put in your AK, because it's cheap. But so is a retainer plate. Go ahead, dish a couple bucks out to Craig's Customs or Tapco or somebody else, get a retainer plate. So from this point, what you want to do is, how I do it, is I grab one side of my trigger spring at a time, and then I wrap it back over your hammer like so. Then I'll do the other side. Do one side at a time. And why I do this is to relieve the tension on your trigger. So at that point you can pop your trigger retaining pin out right here, and it'll just slide right out. At that point your trigger will pop right out. And now you can pop your hammer retaining pin, pop that right out. And then you can wiggle your hammer out. And here it is. This is your completely disassembled AK receiver. And that's it. To reassemble, just reverse the process. It's very easy. With your hammer like this, you can see how those springs stick out. So it's sometimes a little bit tricky to slide your hammer back into your receiver because these springs stick out when they're tensioned behind the hammer like that. You don't necessarily have to do it this way, but I find it to be easier myself to do it this way. So you want to try and get those springs under control, and sometimes they'll get caught on parts of your receiver. Alright, so once you get that lined up, take your hammer retaining pin, pop that back in. I'm trying to do it on camera. Alright, so got that popped back in. Now you can take your trigger, drop your trigger back in the proper orientation. Take your trigger retaining pin, feed that through the eyes on your trigger, and of course I dropped my retaining pin. Alright, it's really not as hard as I'm making it look. Alright, got that popped back in. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to release the springs that I had wrapped around the trigger previously, and hopefully they fall into the correct orientation. They usually do, yep. So that's good. Yep, everything good there. So now here's the tricky part, alright? Now you got to reinstall your shepherd's hook, and this thing's a pain in the ass to do, especially in a combat situation. You don't want to be messing with this damn shepherd's hook. Alright, so I'm going to push my hammer down, ensure that my pins are pushed in all the way, and now I'm gonna slide that shepherd's hook in, make sure it's resting on my retaining pins. Flip it around so I can see where my shepherd's hook eye is. Alright, so now once you get your shepherd's hook semi lined up, you want to take your selector, feed it back through the hole in the upright position, and you want to feed it through your shepherd's hook eye hole. And now this is the tricky part, is getting it just perfect. And it's really not difficult, it's just takes some finesse. Trying to do it on camera and I might not be able to. Also in combat gear it's kind of hard to do it. Like I said, alright, you don't want to be in a combat situation trying to do this, alright? So once you have it ran through both holes, sometimes your selector will get hung up on your hammer, and what you want to do is just take something that's going to slide your hammer out of the way a little bit. So you can flip that selector all the way down. Alright, like that. Now you throw your selector all the way down. Alright, check your retaining pins. nice and tight, what you want to see. And now you reverse your process of putting the easy stuff back in. Take your bolt carrier and your bolt, line it up with your rails. Slide your bolt carrier back in. Take your recoil spring. Slide that back in. Dust cover. I'm going to pop that back on. Put your sight down. And you're good to go. You're back in business. So, that's it. That's the complete disassembly, reassembly. That's dealing with the shepherd's hook. That's why I recommend getting a retainer plate. Sometimes it can be frustrating dealing with that shepherd's hook, especially in a combat situation. Under stress, your fine motor skills are not as sharp as they normally are. And, if you're in a loadout like mine, this is probably, this is a lot of gear. This is like 15 7.62 by 39 magazines. That's a lot of weight, you know what I mean? It restricts your movement. So that's something to think about. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to do a quick video. I had to fix that shepherd's hook anyway, so I figured I'd catch it on camera. If you guys got any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll do my best to address those. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I just wanted to remind you, if you guys got any firearms needs, full service gunsmithing, Duracoating, FFL transfers, whatever you need, go ahead and check my boy Shane out at S&S Gunworks. He's got tons of years of experience, he's the best in the business, just a great dude. He's going to be having some exciting things rolling out in the near future, so keep your eyes open for that, and have a good one.